This is going to be a very unusual video for me, but I just want to share the unusual experience I've been having for the past 10 months, ever since I first joined what I initially thought was a lunatic fringe movement of barefoot running. What makes it so unusual for me is that I haven't been able to run for the past 21 years, ever since I got in a car accident. This was back in 1989, and I twisted cartilage in my knee, and ever since that surgery, every time I've tried to pick up running again, I'd end up with debilitating knee pain. Then back in December 2010, I read a book called Born to Run, where one of the main themes is running barefoot, or at least running in what's called minimalist footwear. It's like this kind of shoe where the sole is very thin. And anyway, I thought it sounded insane, and then I decided to give it a try, and ever since then I've been running pain-free every day. So now at the old age of 49, I suddenly feel like I can run as effortlessly as I did when I was 16 and ran track, though I don't run as fast. But anyway, I feel like I've been resurrected from the dead in a way, so I feel like I need to proselytize and spread the good news, or at least spread it to fellow runners. To all of those who are not interested in running at all, I can't imagine that the idea of running barefoot or running in minimalist shoes would interest you in the subject. So in that sense, I'm not really like a Christian proselytizer who wants to convert everybody. I'm more like a Jewish proselytizer, I guess, who really is only interested in fellow Jews. I don't know if you've ever run into Jewish proselytizers, but when you run into them, the first thing they ask is, "Are you Jewish?" And as soon as you say no, they say, "Okay, sorry to bother you. Have a nice day." So to all of you who have zero interest in running, sorry to bother you. Have a nice day. So to you runners, or at least those of you who don't already know about barefoot running, the reason barefoot running is actually less stressful on the body than cushioned running shoes is that cushioned running shoes change the way you run. They make you feel like it's okay to run with a long stride and to land hard on the heel. But when you run barefoot or in minimalist shoes, your body automatically adjusts in a way that puts less stress on the body. Sorry. So when you're running barefoot, you take shorter strides and you land not on the heel but more on the forefront or midfoot. As for barefoot versus minimalist, I run barefoot when I can, like in parking lots like this. This is at my work here in Jersey. When I run at home in Brooklyn, I wear the minimalist shoes because they at least protect you from glass and little pebbles, and of course when it's cold. Anyway, it seems counterintuitive that having less protection would be safer, but it's kind of similar to the way today's football players, the more protection they wear, the more dangerous the game becomes because they smash each other that much harder. So cushion running shoes is like a very mild version of that. The more cushion you have, the more you feel it's okay to abuse your body. All right, if you're interested in further details, I'm going to post some links in the description box. Two of them are articles that back up some of the safety claims that I'm making. One is from Harvard Science, and it's called Perfect Landing. Study finds barefoot runners have less stress than shod ones. The second one is from Nature, and it's called Foot Strike Patterns and Collision Forces in Habitually Barefoot versus Shod Runners. And I'm also gonna, sorry, stop for water again. I'm gonna post some more sites, including tips for beginners. And one piece of advice you'll hear again and again, and for good reason, is that if you're going to start barefoot running, you should break in slowly. And I'll just mention three reasons. One is the very obvious one, that you should build up calluses on your foot. Maybe that's not so necessary if you're wearing minimalist shoes, but certainly if you're going completely barefoot. Second reason to ease into it a few minutes a day and then gradually build up is calf muscle soreness. Because when you run barefoot, you use your calf muscles in a different way, and they'll end up very sore at first. Third reason is the risk of foot pain. Now, I broke into barefoot running slowly enough that it didn't have much problem with the soles of my feet being raw or with calf pain. But I did have some bad foot pain once when I was, I'd already been running several miles a day, but I was running in this park, and there were a lot of hills and sharp twists and turns, and it felt good that day when I was running. And the next day I had a lot of pain on the top of my foot, so I looked online to see if others had encountered this, and they had, and they call it top of foot pain, and it's because your feet are fairly shielded when they're using certain, your feet are shielded from using certain muscles when you're in shoes. So you're using muscles that are underdeveloped when you suddenly go barefoot. So preventive action is to break in slowly. So, alright, so that's it. This is my first and last video on the subject. So if you have no interest in this topic, you don't have to unsubscribe based on this one video. And similarly, if you're not familiar with my channel and you just stumbled upon it because you are interested in barefoot running or other fitness things, don't subscribe based on this one video. Alright, for all of you who stuck with me, I hope you'll find some of this information useful.